Attention dog and music lovers. There's an awesome podcast you will want to add to your playlist. My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, with host Jackie Harrington. Jackie Harrington loves her dogs, and she talks all about it. This is the most exciting show of all time from a breeder who's also a recording artist and gives insight from that perspective too. When you listen to My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, you will get valuable information on PER education, as well as music and personal insights from Jackie Harrington and other people that she interviews on her show. She dispels myths and sets the record straight. This is the perfect show for dog breeders and lovers of music. My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, with your host, Jackie Harrington, is available on all podcast platforms. Add the podcast to your playlist right now.
Well, hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I need to know where y'all tuning in from. We are hailing from Austin, Texas today, depending on where you're tuning in from. A lot of my people are in other areas of the country. So just wanted to tap in real quick. I say it's real quick and I'll be on here running my mouth. Listen, I am not a sports commentator, so y'all got to forgive me for this, right? But I want to know, what is the controversy behind, or maybe it's not controversy, behind Russel Wilsons Let's Ride? I mean, it was funny here, and let's take a look.
Put my jersey on for the first time. Broncos orange, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Green screen in it with my boy. Let's go. We in the orange, baby. Let's go. Let's ride, baby. Ooh, so clean. Let me know what we doing. I have my boy Drew. I got 1-4 with me. Boy, hey. Show me what we do.
So all I know, y'all, here's all that I know. All that I know is that he was traded from the Broncos back in March, and that's it, and that's all. I'm not a sports person, so I don't know, what's going on with that. Like, I've been telling everybody, like, let me know what is going on, and why is it such a big deal? It's like trending. It's the #1 topic on the internet, is of him and other people doing the Let's Ride challenge, so maybe we need to do a Let's Ride challenge. But I've got some feedback on my own, in case you guys didn't see this. I have a little guy. He's one of my little Yorkies, and he weighs 2 pounds. And I did this video where I was giving him a breathing treatment with a nebulizer, a Roscoe nebulizer. And it is, it's going crazy on the internet. So we are going to watch that because I recorded it. And we're going to watch it, and then we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to tell you guys where I got the machine from. This is good for people who have pets. Just regular pets that don't want those hundreds of dollars of vet bills, other breeders that don't want to lose their puppies. But it's very interesting. So let's take a listen. I'll be stopping and we'll talk about this live video that is going crazy. That's mine as well. For 3 days, right? I'll take him to the hospital, and then doctor's office. And you better ask what's wrong. Yeah, mama, you feel that. Either run him in the shower or give him something to help him breathe. It's consistent. You don't know at what time. So I just got the fatigue. So for the thing I had to run in the shower. And then the thing up. Hey everybody. So I know I seem short here, but what had happened was I got this little baby. I adopted him as one of my studs, right? So he's my puppy. And when I got him, he was sick. So I'd already taken him to the doctor in my household. So I thought pretty much knew that. And as I start this live video, my partner is asking me, what's wrong with the puppy? So I'm like, he's been here for 3 days. We've gone, taken him to the hospital, to the doctor. We knew he was sick. So, my thing is like, why are you asking me right now? Like, you could have asked me when I'm done and when I was off of the live. So that's what you guys hear. I know I'm aggravated, but it's like the minute that I'm doing the live, now he wants to ask questions about what's wrong with the puppy, and he's been there for 3 days. So we already know what's wrong with the puppy. So I thought. Little boy here. And mom And he's little, very little, weighs 1 pound, 9 ounces, and he's fluctuating into losing weight, gaining weight. Hey everybody. And I just want to show you guys this. I want to make him feel better, and he is doing much better. He had a fever of 102. His fever's going down, but he still got a really bad cough. But I got this little machine here. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's named after the dog. And it is breathing treatment. A little machine here to get him to feel better. Other than that, just standing in the shower every 2 to 3 hours and letting him mist go so that he can breathe. He just cough all night long. So I want to make him feel better so that he's doing much better. I can barely see the screen, y'all, so I'm just going to say hey to everybody. Thanks for joining and tuning in. He just had a really bad cough. He's on medication already. Took his flavonoxin, I believe. And then we wanted to do these treatments. So this is his. We traveled, and so when we got home Monday, we went to the doctor Monday. He had pneumonia, so he's been on the plane. I've given him a bath a couple of times. I don't know, just change the weather, but he quickly got pneumonia. And you guys know the big one, the big and small, not anything that you can play around with. But this little thing here is going to hopefully help him feel better. He won't keep it on his face, but as long as he breathes, it will help kind of break the congestion in his chest, and he looks so much better. Like I said, he had a fever. He just looked sick. He didn't feel well at all. So we're trying to get him to feel better. Hey everybody, like I said, the screen is far away. I can't really see you all listening. But thank you guys for watching. For your pet pictures and pet owner, this is a wonderful little machine. I think they might have paid $65 from it. And I will tell everybody where I got it from, but it is, these pets with pneumonia just having trouble breathing. That's what they do. They put them in the hospital, and if they're in incubators, and they give them these breathing treatments in the hospital. So if you got a lot of this equipment on your own, you can pretty much save from those hundreds of thousands of dollars bed bills by having your own stuff. So I pride myself on making sure that I try to, keep as much stuff as I can on hand. Because those vet bills will zap you out in a minute. So guys, one of the things that I wanted to also talk to you about is that a lot of times kennel cough, pneumonia, a lot of that stuff is associated as being the same thing. Highly contagious, especially if you have other dogs. Let me change my ticker here. If you have other, if you have other dogs, it's very contagious. So you want to make sure that, whether it's kennel cough or pneumonia. Pneumonia is diagnosed basically by taking an x-ray. So I ended up paying hundreds of dollars for an x-ray, and that's what determines whether or not it is the kennel cough or the pneumonia. Because if it's pneumonia, then you're going to see the, the scars on the lungs and everything. And if you take an x-ray and it's absent that, then it's more than likely kennel cough. But the weird thing about it is, like I said, it is very, very, very contagious. So it was very important to get him to the doctor, which I did. And then very important to make sure that, like at the doctor, they were, not expecting us to have this equipment. So they're like, take a shower, let the steam go to kind of break him up. So we had gotten this machine and we wanted to make sure that he had breathing treatments. It's like it is a nebulizer for dogs, and it worked wonderfully. So on the antibiotic, like I said, they travel and the weather temperature, we don't know exactly where, how. He got sick, but he immediately had a cough, so took him to the doctor, and he has pneumonia. So he's getting over it. I'm hoping he's looking better and feeling better than he was a couple of days back, and I want him to feel even more better. Sweetest little puppy, only weighs 2 pounds at 4 months old. So he's trying to be maybe 3.5 pounds as an adult. Really, really tiny, which makes this whole process even more crucial. because he doesn't have to wait, you know, bigger puppy and stuff. So we don't want no wrong turns going on here. Hey everybody, if I can't see the screen, thank you guys for tuning in. Please share this video because if nothing else, you know, like this little machine, I'm gonna show it to you. It's like, I don't even think we paid $7 for it, right? And it's a puppy nebulizer. I feel like you should not be in a category of breeding.
Put my jersey on for the first time. Broncos orange, let's ride.
I'm gonna get it together, y'all. I'm gonna get it together. I promise I'm gonna get it together. We also invest with it for them as well, because these are common problems with them. And if you can't hospitalize them, then it means that, you know, the difference between them living and not living. So this is a wise investment. I should have pinned the comment, but I didn't. I just kind of wanted you guys to come on here with me and while we give them this breathing treatment. I just thought it was so new, and I also wanted to give this information to you guys in case you ever run across this situation. Now I have saline solution in here, which is what the doctor told me, you know, that we could use. So you don't have to have medication. You know, there's just the mist itself that helps with the breathing. And it's not like that at all. But like I said, same as the black eye, his temperature has dropped. He's feeling much better, but he's still having a really bad cough through the night and trying to get him some relief with his breathing. So share, like, and share your videos for you, right? And I'm going to get out here, use both my hands, and let the rest of the treatment run out. Now we have lunch. I don't know if you can see the nebulizer in the bottom. You can see his little treatment there. But yeah, he's been sleeping, hanging out with me in my room. Keep an eye on him, and I'll get up before I have this machine and take them and let the shower steam run just to kind of break them up. So hopefully giving him this late at night, maybe he'll sleep better than he has the last few nights. Like I said, we just got this machine, like we got the eBay there, but we just got this kind of machine, and it was very inexpensive. Very inexpensive, especially compared to what you pay if you had to hospitalize your baby because you don't have these inexpensive devices at home, right? Hey everybody, that's the screen. Thank you guys for tapping in. I will go back and read and respond to the comments, and I'm going to try to pin this place where I got this nebulizer from. I'm thinking it's a key component. It will work on these guys. It will work on your Frenchies. It will work on your babies that are born for that need intensive care. So it is a must-have. It's a must-have. And I'm coming on here showing you guys other techniques that we use throughout our CPR first aid class, and that's another lot. So I'm not going to go there tonight. I just wanted to show you guys the treatment for the puppy, and it is a puppy nebulizer, especially for puppies. Doesn't mean that you couldn't use it, you know. I mean, it's the same, but it's just made, you know, for the puppies. And I have another attachment over there too. So hopefully we can get him feeling better. He's already doing much better. In fact, I did come on earlier because we just did not look good, and I just didn't want to go in here like looking bad and feeling bad. I would spend that time trying to get him to feel better, and then I would go on. So when the machine came on, and, you know, speed was dropping and stuff, and I was going a lot. But I've been spending the last couple of days like trying to make sure that he's doing better before I, you know, jump on that line. Thank you guys. I'm going to sign off now. Please share the video. There's a lot of things that we still kind of learn the hard way, raising these puppies, and this is one of them. Again, it works for him. He's got pneumonia. It would be excellent if he had a puppy that needed, you know, a form of oxygen or whatever the case may be. So it's not just a standalone situation. It's a must-have in my opinion. So I'll come on here probably tomorrow and say that you guys are updating. I want to keep on nursing him. So if y'all don't see me online, don't charge it to my heart. I'm just over here doing all kinds of stuff. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time. And I will update you guys in the next day or so as to how we're doing. All right? Okay. Bye now. So, guys, there you have it. It is the puppy nebulizer named Roscoe from Medical Supplies, and I should have put a ticker on here. I should put the website on there, but depending on where you get it from, it's not even $50. I said like 60 or 70. It's a must-have in my opinion. Okay, it's a must-have in my opinion to have on hand. It can be the difference between saving these puppies and losing them, and sometimes just having the equipment makes all the difference in the world. So that brings me to my next subject. Last week I finalized my CPR and first aid instructor course. So I am officially a CPR and first aid instructor, and I'm setting up that class. I'm going to do a free mini class. And then if you choose to want the 2-year certification, then you can enroll and get certified by taking the whole course. But I think that it is extremely important for people to know what to do and how to put that perspective in place until they can get those dogs to the vet. The courses that I teach are not veterinarian courses. They're not courses for you to just know what to do, especially after emergency, but they are courses that are designed to help you not panic and be able to stop, bleeding from the puppy, or, to wrap up the wounds, or to stop the choking and different things like that, or to induce vomiting, if the dog has vomited, has been poisoned or things like that. And a lot of why we lose our pets anyway is because we just don't know what to do. It's like, even with me, I could take the course and all day long I could wrap a dummy's leg, but we all know that we're not wrapping dummies when there's an emergency. Okay, we have issues where we're panicking, our adrenaline is flowing. Even if we know what to do at that moment, we don't know what to do, so we're still panicking again. And so it's always good to arm yourself with as much education and as many techniques as you can to saving these pets. Now, that's whether you are a breeder or not. You don't have to be a breeder. The course is for pet owners in general. If you own a pet, you owe it to yourself to figure out and to know what to do, because we can't call 911. That's one of the things that we cannot do. So you have to know what plan A, B, and C is having these pets. And I just learned, and so y'all gonna have to help me with this. I think, I was reading and studying last night, but I think that we're able to contact Red Cross too for pets. Y'all gonna have to let me know this, because I hadn't got that far to kind of see what the logistics were. But I believe that I saw somewhere that for pet emergencies that we can actually call Red Cross. So I'm gonna leave that for my next episode, because I'm all for giving us a platform of information to know what to do when it comes to the love of these pets. So I'll be right back, guys. I want you to check out my video. I can honestly say I own the rights to this video. It's once in a lifetime, guys. It's my video, my music, and check it out and let me know what you think. It's coming. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe.
better way. Me and my city have a better day. But we only give you one lifetime. But we only give you one lifetime. Money come, money go away. But love you love, you give it away. But we only give it one lifetime. But we only give it one lifetime.
Alexa, play Once in a Lifetime by Jackie Harrington.
Once in a Lifetime, No Strings, by Jackie Harrington.
Well, y'all. So, streaming on all platforms. Listen, if I could sing my CPR class, I would. I love music. And I'm going to tell y'all, I am my favorite artist. So, say what you want. I'm my favorite artist. And that is one of my favorite songs. Once in a Lifetime. I mean, it relates to so many things. And when I wrote that song, I was in such a broken place. But I had conquered a lot of things that I prayed for, and my promise and my fulfillment to the higher, the man up above had been fulfilled. And so I had to write about it, and I had to sing about it. And I will tell y'all more about that in another broadcast if you haven't caught one of my old ones, because I'm always talking about it. So I'm going on to my next topic. I get asked a lot, with the puppies, like I leave and they tear up stuff. What is going on? And I'd be like, hell, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. They bad. You know what I mean? But no, seriously. Puppies can be bad too. They're just like kids and people. But no, there's a thing, and a lot of people don't know that puppies and dogs have anxiety just like people. Right? So, and what they'll tell me is like, they don't do it until I'm gone. You know what I mean? So let's hear from the experts, some more experts, shall I say, as to what could be going on with your pet if they're tearing up and chewing up stuff, and especially when they're only doing it when you're gone.
By dog behavior consultant and certified dog trainer Kate Nido joined us on Ask the Expert recently. After working with thousands of dogs throughout the New York area, she shared her advice on how to deal with separation anxiety.
Separation anxiety is something that I'm seeing more and more these days, and what it means is when your dog is home alone, he's almost having a panic attack. He's very, very stressed for a prolonged period of time while he's home alone. And this can be due to a bunch of different factors. It's possible that you're leaving your dog home alone for a very long period of time, and he's just not emotionally able to handle that. It's not really natural for a dog to be locked up indoors all day. And that is
Lesson 6. DNA
that with our modern lifestyles,
we gonna get it
more now.
We gonna get
It's
it.
also possible that your dog has a lot of extra energy, and if he doesn't get out that energy, any behavioral problem is going to be exacerbated, especially separation issues. Some dogs are also just bored, and so what might look like separation anxiety is actually the dog being bored when he's home alone and just having a bit of a party. So if you're not sure if your dog has actual separation anxiety or not, it would be a good idea to contact a behavior consultant who can walk you through it and figure out exactly what's going on. Back to you, Marissa.
So guys,
Certified dog behavior.
Even me, and all the things that I do, would not have guessed or known that dogs could have separation anxiety. So that was new for me. A lot of people, feel like we have got the answer to everything, and it's like, nah, we don't. But yeah, that was interesting to know that the dogs have anxiety as well. So you guys, the next thing that we're going to visit is a little, hold on one second here. We're going to visit a section from my new book. And it is one of my favorite chapters. It is chapter 6. So we're going to listen to that. And then we're going to talk about where you can get it from.
Attention dog and music lovers. There's an awesome podcast you will want to add to your playlist. My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, with host Jackie Harrington. Jackie Harrington loves her dogs, and she talks all about it. This is the most exciting show of all time from a breeder who's also a recording artist and gives insight from that perspective too. When you listen to My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, you will get valuable information on PER education, as well as music and personal insights from Jackie Harrington and other people that she interviews on her show. She dispels myths and sets the record straight. This is the perfect show for dog breeders and lovers of music. My Breeder's Life, Music, and Me, with your host, Jackie Harrington, is available on all podcast platforms. Add the podcast to your playlist right now.
So now we're going to get into that book because my programs are kind of just running ahead of themselves, okay? But I like this. I like being able to come on here because we can kind of talk about whatever we want to talk about, maybe. But here's the thing. I'll get people that'll drop in my DMs sometimes, and they'll message me and they'll be like, "Oh, you got some pretty puppies, but adopt, don't shop." And it ticks me off because they're on my platform, right? And sometimes they're on my paid platforms, meaning that I'm paying for this advertising, and then I've got a person on here with their personal opinion. Now listen, I am all for saving the lives of animals. In fact, I am a supporter of no-kill shelters, the Humane Society. I take care of other dogs all the time. So there's nothing in my program that prevents a person who wants to adopt, okay, affording them the opportunity to not adopt. If the dogs are available, if they've got Yorkies at the shelter or whatever kind of dog these people want at the shelter, you're more than welcome to go and do whatever you want, okay? But there's pros and cons to everything. Most of the time, the dogs that are in the shelters have, not all, but they have psychological problems. They've been abused. There's a reason that they're in the shelter. And they've already grown up and bonded to someone else. And a lot of times new owners can't break those habits. They can come with psychological issues. And now you're putting these dogs that may have been rendered dangerous around your children, around your family, around other dogs. And I just feel like it is a person's right to decide, okay, what they want and where they want to get their dogs from. When you get these advocates who go behind us and want to tell the world that we're evil people because we're raising dogs and puppies for people to bond with and to be able to have that choice, whether they're emotional support. What about the good side of the thing? It's an uphill battle with criticism. Thank God we're licensed. Thank God we are very, very reputable, but it is not and it hasn't been an overnight process. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that because people have mixed views on what we are as people who raise these puppies, okay? And it's a lot of work just making sure that they're okay for the public. And if you don't take shortcuts and you do it right, it can be and it is a beautiful and wonderful thing. So along my journey, I'm always wanting to educate if I'm not singing. And I want people to understand and I want them to know. And I always want to be an advocate in a way that makes a difference in other people's lives. So I wrote a book called How to Deliver and Whelp Your Puppies. It talks about a lot of the CPR stuff that is also related to, my instructor course. But more so, there's some things in that book that is going to show you and prepare you, you don't even have to have a breeder, but if you've got dogs and they sneak out in the backyard gate and they hunch with the neighbor's dog and they end up pregnant, okay, you still need to know what to do for those dogs. And if you're bringing them in this world, it is your duty and your honor to know what to do for those dogs and those puppies. And the difference of just knowing how to clean their mouth out, to suction their throat and everything could again be the difference between life and death in these puppies. So let's take a listen. How to Deliver and Whelp Your Puppies, written by your girl, Jackie Harrington. I am your best-selling author, okay? And it is in Amazon, and we're waiting to get our approval from Barnes and Nobles. I am not playing with you guys. Y'all gonna be educated one way or another by a song, a book, something. Just keep on hanging out with me.
Calculator. A sample DNA calculator for dog breeding DNA and testing can be found here. Enter the known genetics of your French Bulldog stud and dam in the accompanying figure, figure 3. Then, click Calculate below. Read the following for a better understanding. A locus, pattern. A fawn, at 10. And A solid are the 3 potential possibilities.
Okay, now hold on. How come my followers, when we want to read a book, how come y'all leaving? I don't understand. You know, if I had some drama on here, my numbers would be through the roof. But we're premiering a book that I wrote, mind you. Even got my autograph on there. And I see my followers dropping because we're talking about a book. I don't get it. But anyway, we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep going.
Or alleles for the A locus. Your DNA report may state this either as both genes or as individual copies. There will be a total of 2 of each of the alleles specified. Take each of the current copies and separate them with a slash. Here's an illustration. Yes, there are no copies. 1 copy of A, 1 copy of A, 1 copy of A, 1 copy of A. At A would be the abbreviation for this. If AY is present, it will overpower the other genes, resulting in a fawn Frenchie. There's one exception. If the K locus brindle gene is present, the at fawn gene will not show since the 2 genes operate together. The at tan point will dominate if the at gene is present with a lowercase a, and the Frenchie will have tan points. To be solid, the lowercase a solid gene requires both copies to be present. B locus, brown, testable chocolate. This gene causes Isabella French Bulldogs to be brown, also known as testable chocolate, and it acts in tandem with other genes to produce Isabella French Bulldogs. Because this is a recessive gene, 2 copies are required for the French Bulldog to show the tested chocolate hue. It will say BB, or that there are 2 copies of the B locus. A carrier would be 1 copy. NN or BB, no copies, not favorable. BB or BN, 1 copy, contains testable.
Excuse me, sir.
But does not display it. BB, 2 copies, shows a chocolate bar that can be tasted. Cocoa. When contrasted to the B locus, the major chocolate gene produces a different shade of brown. Similarly, when paired with other visible hues, the result will be different. Cocoa is a recessive gene, which means that both copies are required to create the hue. The dog does not carry cocoa. NN or COCO, no duplicates.
Now, I know that may seem foreign to y'all. But if you have a French Bulldog, we're really big on the DNA. Our studs and our females carry a certain DNA which creates a certain type of look for our dogs. So I have Yorkies, just getting into the Frenchie game, and I was devastated when I would get tests back from UC Davis or Animal Genetics, which, by the way, will send you free testing kits, right? You can order them. You can test for DNA. You can test for genetics. You can test for color. You can test for almost anything, and they will give you those test kits free. UC Davis, I'm not sure, but Animal Genetics will. So if you just want to go crazy on testing your dogs, trying to find out if they're purebred or what they're mixed with or what they're carrying, UC Davis, Animal Genetics will send you out the kits. You swab their mouth, and voila, whatever you're testing for, you send it in, and you can get those results in about 5 to 6 days. So I felt this was important to put it in the book, because now I know what, EE means, and M, for Merle, and K for black, and when you see a chart with those dogs, you only see the acronym. So you don't know, you got to know what they mean. You got to know what mixes with what, because it doesn't, you just don't know that. So that was why I felt it was very important to put the chart in there. And I'm going to do another segment. But there is a thing out, there's an app out that will do, it's a DNA calculator. And if you put in the mom and the dad, it will tell you what your puppies are going to look like. I'm going to share that next. So it can be a pretty interesting task, being a dog mom or a dog dad, and especially with these Frenchies. So let's get back to the book. I appreciate if y'all stay with me. So yeah, we're going to finish out this book, and then we're going to talk about our next thing, which is dog napping.
The dog does not carry Coco. NCO, 1 copy. The dog carries Coco but does not show it. 2 copies of COCO, visible dog Coco. D. locus is a type of locus, blue. The dilute genes are responsible for lowering coat color saturation. It produces a blue French bulldog when used alone. Isabella and Lilacs will be created using various hues. It will look like this. DD or NN, no copies, indicates that the dilute gene is absent. DD or DN, 1 copy, the dog carries but does not show dilute. DD, 2 copies, the dog exhibits dilution, blue. Some reports may use a number instead of D, such as D1. E. locus, cream. The E. locus is in charge of producing cream or yellow-white French bulldogs. It takes 2 copies of E to become seen, and once visible, it will overpower other colors and patterns. A French bulldog's E. locus can also be EM, which is a dark mask around the mouth. Some reports will divide the E. locus into 2 sections, one for E and one for EM, but you should have 2 copies in total. You can have a mask and color gene combination, such as EME, or just 2 masks or colors, as EE.
See, I told y'all, like, them acronyms get the, and dog lovers and people who show these dogs or breed, they know those numbers. And just seeing them, you know, I was like, I want a Frenchie. I'm gonna start raising these Frenchies, and I had no clue. So when I would get their paperwork, or people would ask me, what do they carry? I'm like, what you mean what they carry? You know, they were talking about their DNA, like, you know, EEM, maskless, like, and I didn't know that. So I needed to create a guide so people would know also how to interpret their dog charts and their dog DNAs, and be able to also tell them, listen, like, before you raise these dogs, there's a way to test them to find out if they're likely to have hereditary diseases or not. You don't just put dogs together and be like, oh, well, we're gonna have some kids. You're not supposed to anyway, okay? So I touch on how to read the charts. I also give you the resources and telling you, listen, all you got to do is swap your dog's cheek. It's that simple. Or if you're going to test them with their babies, get their dew claws back from the vet. Like, it's so harmless. It's very simple to get this test underway. And if you're going to be putting dogs together, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the dog. You don't want dogs that are born deformed with things that you could have looked into ahead of time. You do not just put these dogs together and go to breeding. You don't. So let's finish this out, and then we're going to talk about something else that's really, really important.
The presence of EM causes a dark mask. E causes a black basis from most French hues, and 2 copies of E cause a white or cream base. EE, no cream copies. The dog isn't carrying any cream. The dog will be wearing a mask, either EEM, 1 copy of mask, or EMEM, 2 copies of mask. EEM, 1 mask, 1 cream. The dog will wear a mask and carry cream, but will not show it. EE, 1 cream copy. The dog has cream, but does not show it. EE, 2 cream copies. The dog is clearly cream. K. locus, black brindle. The K. locus is shown in a few different ways depending on the DNA testing business, but it will appear on the dog if 1 copy is present. A second copy does not add to the intensity. Only 2 alleles exist, KBR brindle and KY black. Here are some examples of how it's been expressed. KY or NN, no copies. There is no brindle in the dog. The dog will be visible brindle in KN, KBKY, and KBRKY, 1 copy. Even though AY is on the A locus, the dog cannot be fawn. The dog will be visible brindle in KK, KBKB, and KBRKBR, 2 copies. Even though AY is on the A locus, the dog cannot be fawn. S locus, piebald, spotted. For the piebald gene and French bulldog to be seen, both copies must be present. It will remove pigments at random, leaving vast regions of a different color. To indicate the presence of a copy, it is usually indicated as S or SP on most tests. To add to the confusion, some testing copies use
You heard him.
Your
He
DNA
says
report
to
may state this either
add to the confusion, and I was so confused getting those charts. So that was like, that was one of the sections that I was like, I've got to put this in here. I've got to put this in here because me, you know, like educated, licensed, all that, that doesn't give you. You still have to have the experience, you know, like that don't mean anything. You can't read the chart. You don't know, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know who you're putting with who. And then you're just seeing all these acronyms and you're going, what? Now, you guys that have been doing this for a while, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about now. But it took me a moment to get to that point because, honey, like he said, to add to the confusion. And you see all these acronyms everywhere before you even see the dog name. And you're like, what in the world? And in the Frenchie game, their DNA is more important than their name. Their DNA and who they off of, who they daddy. You know, sometimes they'll ask about the mom, but the popularity runs in who they off of. You know, there's some very, very popular kennels around here. Upmost Frenchies, I think they're out in Vegas or California. Let's see, there's Go Frenchies, they're in Dallas. There is Cash Money Millionaires, I believe they're also in Dallas. So there's some really good. There's a Texas Bully Association, always giving dog shows. And so those are going to be the people that are going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about that DNA. And some people, they don't need the book. But like I said, there's a calculator in there. So even if you know what the DNA is, you can put in the mom's DNA and the dad's DNA, and it'll tell you what kind of puppies you're going to get. But more importantly, you want to make sure that you're testing the puppies for hereditary diseases, because if that comes up in that 5-panel test, you don't want to breed those dogs. No more putting them together like, y'all, let's see what you get. That's not how it's supposed to be done. Now, yeah, there's a lot of people that do it, but if you want to have a higher success rate, if you want happy customers and clients, if you want healthy puppies, those are just a couple of extra steps that you ought to be taking. Now, don't take my word for it. I ain't nobody. I'm just saying.
as both genes or as individual copies. There will be a total of 2 of each of the alleles specified. Take each of the current copies and separate them with a slash. Here's an illustration. Yes, there are no copies. One copy of A, one copy of A, one copy of A, one copy of A. At A would be the abbreviation for this. If AY is present, it will overpower the other genes, resulting in a fawn Frenchie. There's one exception. If the K-locus brindle gene is present,
See, y'all, I just told y'all how to get fawn babies right there, free game. Just told you how to do it. That DNA. I just told you how to do it. Thank me later.
A, one copy of A. At A would be the abbreviation for this. If AY is present, it will overpower the other genes, resulting in a fawn Frenchie. There's one exception. If the K-locus brindle gene is present, the at-fawn gene will not show since the 2 genes operate together. The at-tan point will dominate if the at gene is present with a lowercase a, and the Frenchie will have tan points. To be solid, the lowercase a solid gene requires both copies to be present. B locus, brown, testable chocolate. This gene causes Isabella French Bulldogs to be brown, also known as testable chocolate, and it acts in tandem with other genes.
Testable chocolate, brown, also known as Rojo. Same DNA. Just different names, depending on where you at. They're going to call them different things. They're going to refer to them in different things. I believe further south, Miami, they're referring to them more of Rojo. It just depends on where you're at and what you want to call them. But testable chocolate, Isabella, along the same lines of information. So there you have it. Let's keep on listening because we're going to have to get out of here in a minute.
To produce Isabella French Bulldogs. Because this is a recessive gene, 2 copies are required for the French Bulldog to show the tested chocolate hue. It will say BB or that there are 2 copies of the B locus. A carrier would be 1 copy. NN or BB, no copies, not favorable. BB or BN, 1 copy, contains testable chocolate but does not display it. BB, 2 copies, shows a chocolate bar that can be tasted. Cocoa. When contrasted to the bee locus, the major chocolate gene produces a different shade of brown. Similarly, when paired with other visible hues, the result will be different. Cocoa is a recessive gene, which means that both copies are required to create the hue. The dog does not carry cocoa. NN or COCO, no duplicates. The dog does not carry cocoa. NCO, one copy. The dog carries cocoa but does not show it. 2 copies of COCO, visible dog cocoa. D locus is a type of locus, blue. The dilute genes are responsible for lowering coat color saturation. It produces a blue French bulldog when used alone. Isabella and lilacs will be created using various hues. It will look like this. DD or NN, no copies, indicates that the dilute gene is absent. DD or DN, one copy, the dog carries but does not show dilute. DD, 2 copies, the dog exhibits dilution, blue. Some reports may use a number instead of D, such as D1. E locus, cream.
Just told y'all how to get cream and what the acronyms are for that. But I'm on a time schedule and I want to get into dog napping before I end this broadcast. And this is cool. So listen, y'all. While I'm telling y'all about DNA, I'm going to tell y'all about this too. Dog napping is on the rise, especially Frenchies, bullies, fluffies. Like, they're just being snatched, okay? And even if you have video cameras, you still need your gun, okay? Yeah, I said it. Because they're covering their faces in mask and they're still coming for you. So, not good. Not good. And I get these stories every single week. But I'm going to let you guys watch this one. And tell me what y'all think y'all hear. But y'all just sitting. I need some feedback. I need to know you hear me.
Hey. Did you see a dog? Yeah, my dog. You the dog? Huh? No, the dog. I was just outside with the dog. You were the only person outside. That's why I'm coming. When the dog, I went in the house, and now the dog is gone. So I'm just. Yeah. Well, this is just for legal matters because I just want to make sure everything is handled accordingly when the police gets here because you were the only person outside, and now the dog is gone. I mean, if you don't have the dog, then I guess that's shouldn't matter. I didn't call the police on you. I just called the police in general. I know that you were the only person outside when the dog was missing.
You were supposed to be recording me, and you police out there like.
Again, sir, you were the only person outside when my dog went missing. So have you seen the dog?
I'm still trying to figure out why you're recording me.
You never answered the question, sir. Have you seen my dog? Okay.
Let's explain to you the last person seen with the dogs outside, man. What are the dogs at, man? Come on, man. We ain't got time for no bull, man. Them expensive dogs.
Very expensive.
We're not gonna play with you on that battle, man. Listen.
You were the only person outside.
No fools, man. We ain't no fools, man. What are damn dogs, man? Huh? Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, man. But
what's crazy is that you were the only person out here, and now you trying to act just as shocked as everybody else. No, I'm just saying, have you seen the dog?
Have you seen him? Yes or no?
Have you seen the dog?
Without my permission.
Oh my God. Well, then you a criminal and you acting like you never seen the dogs at all. Did you or did you not see the dog when I was outside with the dog? Okay.
Three dogs. Three expensive dogs. Three expensive dogs. We ain't stupid, man. We not stupid, man.
See, that's why I just said we should have just waited till the police got here. Because I already knew this was going to be that.
I'm just minding my business.
Go check your phone. That's why I just feel like we don't
have to stupid, man. Look at this right here. I see my mother dogs right here, man. I see my mother dogs right here. Come on, bro. Our dogs right here. The dog's right here.
Oh my God.
Watch out, man. These are dogs. Say, man. Say.
Excuse me, sir. The police is on the way.
Come on, man. Dogs out here, bro. You see they was right here. Why you got them dogs back there? Say, man.
This is a crime.
Come on. Hold on. How I know your dog anyway?
Get out.
How I know your dog? What you mean? Come on, man. These your dogs? These your dogs? I caught them on the back street. Come on, man. Like, what's the dog scared, man? What are you talking about? Well, it's your fault. Y'all didn't leave these dogs with no leash. That's your fault. You don't sue me because your dog was just running in the neighborhood across the street. That's crazy. They about to get ran over and everything. Say, man, get my dog out your back. You get him. You didn't care about it. You get him. You just got the dog running out in the neighborhood. Say, man. I don't get it. Say, man, watch out, man. Hey, man, look. You ain't got to open my door all the way, though. You go, man. For real? You go, man. Don't
worry, I got it all on camera. I have it all on camera. Don't worry about it. Anything happen, I got it all on camera. Don't even worry about it.
I thought I was in my home.
Right, don't even worry about it.
Okay, that's cool. Get your dog in.
You ain't baby boy. It was good dog. You didn't know good dog. Now all of a sudden the dog's in the car. That's why I'm recording. That's why I got everything on camera. That's okay, sir. Calm down. It's okay. You going to jail. You going to jail.
Get the dog. Say, man.
Y'all get him.
Say, man.
Get him. Put a leash on him. How about this? You won't get mad.
You going to jail, man. You going to jail, bro. You going to jail. You going to jail, man.
I ain't going to
jail. Yeah, you going to jail.
I'm going to jail.
You going to jail.
You going to jail.
You going to jail. We got you on camera, man. We got you on camera. Stay right here. Stay right here, man. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Go ahead. Make sure call the police again. Let them hurry up. Take the dog to the house. Take the dog to the house, baby. You gone? We gonna get. I'm gonna get. I got your license plate. Go ahead. Snooki, go ahead.
How many of y'all
I got your license plate, buddy.
felt y'all knew that he had that? Because he was running game real tough in the beginning. What dog? How many of y'all knew? But she was like me, though. I would have been, check the car. I'd have been the same way. How many of y'all knew that man had them dogs? You know, like, it's just, listen. I'm looking for this story, so if someone has it, please send it to me. In Waco, Texas, a few weeks back, and this is allegedly, there was another dog napping on a lady that she went to go put her grocery in the car. The dog was in the basket. Apparently, someone snatched the dog. She ran, allegedly, jumped in the car, but fell out of the car trying to get the dog back. And she's offering a $10,000 reward in Waco, Texas. If y'all have that story, would y'all please send it to me? Because those are unfortunate events that help me come on here and say, y'all, listen, we're good in what we do, but we also have things that other people feel like they can take, that they want, you know, and so we got to be extra careful. It used to be you put your grocery in the car and then your purse and your dog. Today, you put your dog in the car first, then your purse and that part. Because, you know, some of y'all have dogs that are worth more than cars. But I'm going to tell you, you just got to be safe. Like, and we're out here, you know, fighting to stay safe and everything else. But you got to be safe, because that woman, I'm still looking for the story, but she could have killed herself. But she wanted her dog back, right? And I feel her. I really do, because people are crazy these days. They feel they can take whatever it is they want from us. The Frenchies are on the rise. I don't know right now if there's another dog that's as popular, the Frenchies and the Fluffies, that's as popular, that's being stolen. Now, I'm not saying as popular. I'm just saying that right now today, The dogs that are being taken are the Frenchies, I think the Bullies, and the Fluffies. So they're just very popular in nature, and people are snatching them. They're snatching them. And so just be careful, because it's on the rise. Dog napping is on the rise. They will steal these dogs from your house, from your yard. So no more leaving the dogs outside unattended for potty breaks. Hell, it's 105 degrees anyway. They shouldn't be left out there no how. But no more turning your back, not even for a little bit. Like, you need to go out and sit right out there with your dog, let him take a potty break, and then come on back in, because it's 100 degrees outside anyway. So that's what needs to happen, you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sharing is caring. Here's a cute little deal that I do. It all makes a difference that I've got circulating on my web pages and all. And so if you see that, follow suit, share, tag, share more than once. It all helps. And before we say goodbye,
attention dog and music lovers, there's an awesome podcast you will want to add to your playlist. My Breeder's Life, Music and Me, with host Jackie Harrington. Jackie Harrington loves her dogs, and she talks all about it. This is the most exciting show of all time from a breeder who's also a recording artist and gives insight from that perspective too. When you listen to My Breeder's Life, Music and Me, you will get valuable information on PER education, as well as music and personal insights from Jackie Harrington and other people that she interviews on her show. She dispels myths and sets the record straight. This is the perfect show for dog breeders and lovers of music. My Breeder's Life, Music and Me, with your host Jackie Harrington, is available on all podcast platforms. Add the podcast to your playlist right now.
So before I go, I do have a couple more interview spots that I'm lining up for in the month of August. So DM me, contact me if there's a subject you want to talk about. I can bring you on. Show also airs ATX Soul Radio on Thursdays. I'll be putting that link in the description as well. So we have the podcast and we have the broadcast, the radio show, ATX Soul Radio. So if you're wanting to go someplace where you don't have to have a censored playlist and a bunch of booty cussing, shaking, there's nothing wrong with the booty shaking, but a lot of it is associated with very explicit words. If you're wanting a positive, censored already radio that you don't have to censor out, that's user friendly, and you don't have to worry about the kids, then you want your ATX Soul Radio, because it's already censored. Okay, guys? So I told y'all if I could sing it, I would. But we're signing off. Goodbye now. Till next time. Please share, like. Also join the Thursday broadcast on ATX Soul Radio. We'll see you next week. Bye.